Joining me now, former communications director for Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Mark Bednar. And Mark, the president went on to say, I love this line, quote, even the people that hate me are making this investment. So will this be Republicans' silver bullet heading into the midterms?
Well, good morning, Todd. So President Trump is right. This is transformational policy, but it's because it creates a new opportunity for American families in ways that we had never previously imagined. You saw Nicki Minaj there. He's building new coalitions, bringing more philanthropists and corporations to the table in new ways. But functionally, what this does for American families, for American kids, it allows them to participate in the global market economy. It actually allows them to practice financial literacy, and then it allows them to plan for the future. We haven't seen anything like this before. And from a political standpoint, this is ingenious because you often heard Republicans lament that, one big beautiful bill is so expansive, they don't know where to start, where to talk about it. Well, this is something concrete. If you want a roadmap for 2026, starting with kids and families is a great place to start.
Yeah, I think this just is so sellable on the campaign trail. Like Republicans are literally giving your children money that will grow and set them up for their futures, which is something every parent wants. You mentioned Nicki Minaj, I believe, among other headlines she made yesterday. She said she's going to fund these for her fans. They're known as barbs. I'm told that by the children as well. A Turning Point, though, is also going to do the same for their employees. And you heard the president, you used the word as well, transformational. Are we talking like 401k, IRA, Social Security level transformational, Mark?
Well, it's huge because you get, first of all, the coalition of all these different entities who have never been really participating in this sort of way in politics. You have them coming together. But then also just the fact that this money is set out for newborn kids, but then it grows over time. You can't access it till you're age 18. But once you can do that, once you access that and families can contribute, then you can go, use it to go to school, use it to start a business, use it to go out, move to a new city to get a new job. This actually is transformational. It'll allow families and kids to actually, be equipped to empower their own future. That's huge. And for Republicans, 66% of Americans support this. 2/3 of Americans can't even agree on what day it is of the week. So the fact that they support this to such a high degree, this is something you can run on and win on.
And it gives you a lot more options than your standard 529 account, which is literally only for education, only for potentially college or trade school. I want to get your thoughts on this. Senate expected to hold a government funding test vote later today, with Democrats threatening, of course, partial government shutdown if no changes are made to the admin's immigration crackdown. Here's the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer with his list of demands. Listen.
Our caucus is unified over three main legislative objectives. First, we want to end roving patrols. We need to tighten the rules governing the use of warrants and require ICE's coordination with state and local law enforcement. Second, we want to enforce accountability. Third, we want masks off, body cameras on.
So reportedly last night, the president and Senator Schumer got together late into the night, came up with the framework of a plan. Under this plan, they're going to bifurcate this. They're basically going to take the six-bill package of spending measures, do that, and then agree to negotiate on the border issues. In return, the White House says these restrictions could be discussed at a later time. You think this deal ultimately is the deal that gets us to avoid a shutdown tomorrow?
Boy, we'll have to see. If anyone can pull this off, it's the negotiator-in-chief, President Trump. However, a lot of Republicans on the Hill that I've been talking to, they view this as an 11th-hour bait and switch with a lot of policies that they don't agree with, that they feel that is very important for law enforcement and for ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to use. But furthermore, they're also just insulted that at a time when we've seen these crazy storms and we've seen these crazy temperatures, that Democrats are threatening the pay of FEMA and of the Coast Guard and of TSA with other parts of the government, just throwing their paychecks and throwing the certainty there kind of as a part of this negotiating process. So that's not good. But this is encouraging that they're talking. That's at least a good place to start. But Todd, it's a funny thing. When I was on the Hill, I remember when Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, she actually imposed fines on members of Congress if they didn't wear their mask on the floor during COVID and threatened to even fine staffers if they didn't, or arrest staffers if they didn't wear masks. So now that we're calling for a new remove the masks is pretty rich from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's certainly one point. If I'm looking at this from afar, and again, I've never worked on Capitol Hill, but to me, this looks like Democrats getting another out so they can go to their people. Hey, we tried, because we all know the president, if you watched our earlier segment, the president in this White House is never going to cave on getting illegal immigrants that have committed crimes out of our country. They're just not going to budge on that. So you wonder if this is like the last shutdown where the Republicans and Democrats agreed to have a discussion, but ultimately in the end, the Republicans got their way. Mark Bednar, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Todd.